it's time to hit a cram session with the twins. So this is just going to be a gold digging target of cram session cast with one of the two twins on the field, either Rowan or Will, dual-sided planeswalker. Plus we can ping something or lightning bolt if we've drawn 3 cards. Ultimate is an emblem that copies spells if you pay. Will can draw us cards, dome a creature's power, or exile and make 4/4s. We can have both out together obviously, and that's what be the dream. But that's our primary goal, is cram sessions with one of the twins down. Rest of the deck is obviously a Niv deck. Running a Edgar for finish, we've got Solar Blaze, Clarion, Clothis. Removal, Voice of Resurgence as our aggro creature, Growth Spiral for draw, and Hydroid Krasis as a flashback from the past to just draw some cards and cast a big spells if we need to. And then we have Gigantha as our companion. Our entire sideboard is learn spells, so let's have some fun hopefully. Let's see if we can find some okay matchups. Alright, into our first game. Disclaimer, we did lose half the recording, so we've only got 2 matches today. We keep an interesting hand, but we are missing blue, missing red and black, which is ironic because it's all our removal. Opponent leads off with a Gilded Goose. We draw our black, so immediately we're going to Vanishing Verse that in case it's some kind of ramp for the big spells. Keep them on the slowdown, as they say. They have another Goose. It appears to be Jund, so we still need our red here, so let's get this interplay tapped. We'll Vanishing Verse again to slow them down. Clearly they're building to something big, so let's just keep that down as much as we can. Opponent passes, we get nothing from it, so let's hit up with a cram session. So our target is to cast this and some learn spells with one of the twins out if we can find them. Environmental Studies will get our red source as we go. Opponent has Collected Company, so this is a Rakdos Sacrifice list with a slightly different outcome. So, looking at the lands here, I'm going to use Environmental to grab my mountain, but then play my plains. That way I can get a Voice of Resurgence down just to have some fodder for blocking, so they just don't at least get a free attack in. Also might force them to commit some things to the board. They do scare me here by dropping a Citadel, but fortunately we have the Colligan's command, which is literally perfect here. They bricked with a land on top, which we know they must be drawing next turn, so we'll get rid of those. We can pass, swing in here. We're up to 24 obviously from the learn spells, so we can put pressure on. Our opponent still has 6 mana, plays a Woe Strider. This is scary for us because they have another Sheoldred's Edict as well that will kill our Voice of Resurgence, so let's get... We find a Niv off our Growth Spiral, perfect. This is pretty scary though. Our opponent could lead to anything else. They swing in, I will take this trade. I need to cut back on anything they could to manipulate the top of their deck, so getting rid of their creatures is always valuable. I could kill the Roast Rider here, but I'm going to use Niv to find better answers and hope that the last card in the deck is not another Bolas's Citadel. If it is, well, fair play, they got me. They scry, so they clearly are looking for an answer. They put something to the bottom. We get a full spread here of 6 cards. In this situation, I think I'm going to get rid of the Solar Blaze. I want to keep on Niv Mizzet around, and the lifelink could be sweet if you need it, but they do have another Sheoldred's Edict. This puts us in a great position here, so we can drop an Edgar and a Voice of Resurgence, I believe, and that will leave us in a standing situation here. We have 2 of our hardest to kill monsters that incidentally make something. They're gaining life with their food. They're still digging for another Citadel here. They have their 3rd Edict, so I will sack Edgar because I want to trade here, and there's a reason for it. I want to trade here because this will force them to escape it, getting cards out of their graveyard, meaning that they won't be able to loop it as much if they find another Citadel. Or we could just keep it going down. We have the Scorns to kill it again here, so we'll kill it immediately. Again, we just got to limit their options. They're not a true combo instant win deck, but if they get a good run off the top of their deck with the Citadel, we could be in a great bit of trouble here. Another cram sessions here. I'm going to grab Containment Breach as another answer to the Citadel if it does eventually come down. It's not ideal because it is sorcery speed, but we just got to hope for the best here. Opponent plays a Mayhem Devil. Sacks of food here. Pings down our Vampire. keeps our elemental token small. We have another Scorn here, so we'll just take out the Mayhem Devil, because that's another thing we just don't want to deal with if they get a Citadel. Let's grab a Gigantha into hand. Since we don't have a second blue, we couldn't use a Hydroid Krasis, so we'll stay it this way. Ghost Rider returns. They have nothing left in their graveyard now. They have another Gilded Goose. They've got plenty of chump blockers here. Edgar makes a triumphant return. Top deck Vanishing Verse is perfect. We'll get rid of the Ghost Rider here. They start sacrificing to try and make it at the top of their deck. They find something on top they like. So now we can swing in for some great power, but first let's drop a Krasis for 4. Gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. We find the twins. Fortunately, we've used all our learned spells for this turn. Opponent is on 8. Let's see what they do. Collected Company. They find another Devil and a Prosperous Innkeeper. They now have enough here that they could sack and take out one of our vampires. But with Edgar flip back over, they're pretty tough for them to ping out. Right, we came here to do it, so let's get the twins down. With the higher amount of mana stuff we have here, I'm going to go for Will.
Well, I've been studying.
And we can then just use a Clarion here. It will cost us everything but Edgar and the Hydroid, but it's worth it. Now we can plus Will, so he's closer to go off. We have enough cards, so we'll just swing here. Our opponent is lethal if they don't have removal. They have a Priest of the Gods, but they concede. Good showing. We didn't fully get our target though. Great thing about this deck, no sideboarding, just go straight into the next match. So again, we want to trigger a learn ability with one of the twins or both of the twins out. And that will be our big goal for the match. Right, we're running back with our opponents. So they are Jund Citadel. We have a twin in hand and removal, so we'll keep it. We drop a Triome. Our opponent has their land sorted out too here. I'm going to shock in a Watery Grave to hold up a Growth Spiral and fake some interaction here. See if they play into it. They have a Chandra, the Acolyte of Flame, so let's first draw a card, put a Triome into play. We have to get rid of this Chandra. If they drop a Mayhem Devil with her sacking 2 hasty creatures every turn, it's going to be pretty damn brutal. So, mono removal with the Vanishing Verse. We'll drop a land into play tapped here. We'll preserve our life a little bit. These decks can do an insane amount of damage quickly. Collected Company for them. Finds them a Mayhem Devil, so I'm very happy I got rid of that Chandra at that point. We hit a turn 5 on turn Niv and our opponent has seen enough. I'm guessing they don't have removal for it and we're about to reload and score up. Next we have our final match that we were able to get here, Obsidian Vale. I'll put it this way, these matches are against fringier decks. We won a couple of other fun matches, close games, but we lost a lot with this deck. I lost a lot of recordings just being ruffle stomped. Those ones I just generally got rid of, but I did lose other cards. So we have Knights, and this deck surprised me. I forgot that there's another 2-mana Lord for Knights. And now there's a bunch of Knights that do things, 1-power Knights that do things when they die or they can be sacrificed. Like this Ember of Veteran here. And a Venerable Knight. Now we don't have a board wipe here, so this could be brutal. But we did get lucky there, top deck, Solar Blaze. Which kind of felt bad for them, but if they had lined it up where we had to use spot removal, they could have stacked an impressive creature from that. Aspiring Veteran comes down for them. We'll put a significant roadblock in their way with Edgar. Excuse me. They have a Fervent Champion into a Knight of the Ember Legion. Right, on our turn, we will Crime Session, gain 4 life. We'll grab Pest Summoning here. Flooding our board seems like a pretty good thing here against an aggro deck. Put a tap line into play. We'll hold back the block here. Now if our opponent attacks with the Ember Knight, they can pump that to a 5/6. So I'm going to block with everything here, because either they don't do it and cast other spells, or they do it like they do here, We lose everything, but Edgar flips back over and will eventually just keep making us little creatures. We find one of the twins again. Fortunately, I think it's just better in this situation that we pump out the Krasis and draw some cards. Fortunately, it's another land and a Kolaghan's Command. Opponent plays a Marshal of Zephyr and a Dauntless Bodyguard. So a lot of power on their board very quickly there. Very happy we committed to the Krasis. Alright, well, with that in mind, I'm trying to figure out what's better here. I think Will is better.
Well, I've been studying.
We can then down-tick Will and he'll draw us 2 cards. We find a cram session, so we complete our goals, ladies and gentlemen. The cram session is complete. We'll grab Mascot Exhibition because it'll just pump out some same blockers. Also gives us a great... Oh, and our opponent concedes to that. Yeah, we were just lucky there. So we just run it back with the same board. So we did hit it. I'm glad one of the games we saved still had it. But yes, level 1 goal was achieved. Level 2 goal would be if we had been able to get both Will and Rowan out and then cast a learn spell or trigger learn. Opponent is a 4-color Knights deck, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting effects there. I am quite partial to Knights. I did play it a little bit in Standard for fun as a budget option. Right, last match. Well, hopefully last match. We mulligan down to 6. Again, we don't have blue in this, so that's a pretty interesting thing. We'll get rid of Tyrant Sconce if we don't have blue. I want to hold up for a Niv-Mizzet if we can. They go to the Amber Veteran. We'll drop a Triome. They drop another land and hit us for 2. They then have a Venerated Knight and Knight of the Ebon Legion. Clarion here could be insane life saving, so let's see what our opponent goes for. They swing in here, pump the Knight of the Ebon Legion to get the damage in. Down to 10, however, that kind of screws them because now they can't pump to protect it from the Clarion that we have, but in their defense they didn't see Clarion game 1. That's gone now. Our opponent plays another Knight of the Ember Legion here into another Venerated Knight. A lot of good 1-drops in the Knight deck. We'll use our K command to force them to discard the last card and kill the Knight before they get the ability to pump it. We also got blue from our Kitra Triome there. Swing in with their Knight. Shock in here, and I choose to play the Niv-Mizzet because
Reload.
the rules of this Gold Digging, for anyone who doesn't know, is I have to play the optimal play. I can't cheese it to see if I could win, maybe by just messing around and playing Will and just dinging down the creature. Niv was the best play, so I had to play it. But I hope you did enjoy the shorter video today.